Pat Ford, FORD, representing CoalitionNews.com, Coalition Media Network. If I could first of all stipulate a question to Mr. Chairman Ronald T. Gortowski. Have you ever worked as a paid lobbyist for National Grid in the state of Massachusetts legislature?
Sir, we're taking comments that relate to what was before us.
All right, we'll assume that's a yes then. I'm going to do a little bit of dramatic reading from a journalist who was here a little earlier, Mr. Alex Kuffner, from the Providence Journal, who wrote a very fine article. RA ratepayers to get $8 million in National Grid billing scandal settlement. Let's think about that for a moment. Rhode Island Energy has agreed to pay nearly $8 million to compensate ratepayers for a billing manipulation scheme that occurred under the watch of National Grid. George Carlin would have a field day in Rhode Island. A billing manipulation scheme. Now, I'm going to translate for the folks who are still here. I think that's called fraud. Everybody agree? Fraud. So we've got representatives here from the Public Utility Commission and the Attorney General's office. So was anyone indicted on any level of criminality for that fraud? Sir, you're here. Why not join the party? You're allegedly an expert here on utility, and I would imagine you would have been involved in that negotiation. Was anyone indicted or sent to jail for fraud? Bueller? By the way, you can respond if you want to, but there's nothing in the law that says that you can't respond to any of the people who spend most of their evening here after working a full and rewarding day. You simply choose not to. So I'm going to assume that because you weren't willing to, or didn't have the courage to answer, that no one was indicted, because we would have read about it, because it's a great article in the journal, Mr. Kuffner. So let's move along. Under that $8 million that was paid to ratepayers, it wasn't really paid to ratepayers, was it? No. It was put into a fund to help pay for costs for damaged utility lines. Now, in most businesses, that's considered something called cost of goods sold, and is the responsibility of the provider, the supplier, the manufacturer. But only in energy world do we get to then take that, lower the cost of doing business while not really impacting rates. I would argue to you that that's fraud. And that's what's grotesque about this situation. We've got all the wise men here. We're willing to listen, and I've been to many of these before. And by the way, it is insulting not to have proper facilities. Again, we walk in, the sound doesn't work. We walk in, the video doesn't work. We walk into a room, despite the millions of dollars paid to, well, whatever, it doesn't work. That's insulting, but we're used to being insulted in Rhode Island. In fact, we always have sort of a, please sir, may I have another attitude. But don't mistake our kindness for weakness. Because as someone who operates as something of an independent media person out in the world, out in the real world, in the dreaded real world of Rhode Island, who also runs a small homeless charity, I can tell you things are getting far worse at an exponentially increasing rate. So to review, there's no issue whatsoever paying millions of dollars in the calculation that you put together. And by the way, I'm going to stipulate for the fact, I would argue that there should never ever be another individual who has received funds for being a lobbyist who should ever be allowed to be the head of a public utilities commission again. And I will refer this video to the wide array of legislators who chose to join us tonight, and that needs to be amended because you should never have this power. There's a clear conflict of interest for most of you. And the implications have been terrible. The calculus, the polynomial, multinomial equations that you come up with to arrange at these prices that you consider quite justified. Because the one thing that's consistent here, besides the horrific impact on people's personal wealth and folks who are borderline homeless, folks who are living on the verge of a nervous breakdown, the one consistency here is that you will take tonight, and you will carefully, the wise men and women here, listen. You practice your listening here, some of you. And you won't do a damn thing about it. Why? Because you're bought and sold. You have no independence up there. You can't possibly. Sir, I work all the time out of state with people who are, they hold these government titles within large corporations. And their job is to essentially be a lobbyist and manipulate things. And that's fine, I guess. If you have an eternal soul, I don't know that you do. But the complete ignorance of any of the will of the people in any of this calculation, when measured by the impact out here in the real world. I visit 20 plus homeless encampments a week. They're growing, they're not getting any smaller. And I will tell you that once people lose their homes as a result of this, and they will, that will be blood on your hands. And you can look back and you can all justify yourselves that you, in this case, Justice Zone, I want respect. Why? You've worked the system your entire life. You are a product of the system. And the system is in shambles because of your failure to act on behalf of the people that somehow you managed to be appointed to represent. And again, your willingness to sell out and say anything or do anything so that lots of people get rich and regular folks suffer. Sleep tight, Rhode.
My name is Catherine Zelazny, C-E-L-A-Z-N-Y. I live in Warwick. And I'm only going to talk about the last 2 months, okay? I'm not going to do what everyone's talking about. Oh, it gets higher in the winter than the summer. We all know that. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for having this meeting. It's very important to your residents. But I hope you people listen and not just have the meeting. My bill last month, okay, and again, I did not change anything in my house. It stayed the same. Okay, had moved from $100 to $200 some dollars a month. Okay, and now this month, again, I do not use the oven. I have a little oven broiler I cook on. That's it. Okay, I keep my house at a low temperature. Well, to me, it's low at 68. Okay? And my bill was over $400. I am talking not just for myself, but for my neighbors, my brother, and other seniors. We cannot afford that. Most of us are living on Social Security, maybe a small pension. Some of us even can't get all the full Social Security because, with husbands passing and everything else. We don't have this type of money. And I do not want to have to move and leave the state because of this. But it's not so much, it's applied, yes, it's high. But that delivery charge is 3 times the amount the supply is.
It was like that before.
It was a little bit higher, but not 3 times the amount of what I actually use for supply. So I just wanted to let you people know that this is a crisis and for everybody, not just seniors, but especially for seniors. And again, I hope you're going to be listening and taking notes on what is being said and actually think about it.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next name that I have on the list is Merton Smith.
Mars is coming.
You know what someone needs to do?
He's coming.
Is this affecting you?
He's coming.
Microphone can go to him too. Sorry.
In the right direction?
Yeah, so far so good, man.
Good.
Keep going. Watch out.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you, Bert.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for holding this hearing. It's very important to all of us. I'm a little bewildered on the way these bills are laid out. They don't explain a whole lot. I don't understand what this customer charge of $6 is a flat rate every month. Maybe you can explain that, maybe not. RE growth program change, what is that? LI heat enhancement charge or change for 79 cents?
What is that?
What is that? There's a lot of things you put on these bills that just don't make any sense.
Yep.
When you add it up, I mean, there's an awful lot of customers here in Rhode Island that have to suffer through that. For example, I'm on Social Security, and I have a very small pension, and I'm paying a mortgage. There's 3 people who live in my house and 2 dogs. They don't need much, they don't take up much space, and there's much electricity. But overall, it really isn't fair, it just isn't fair.
That's right.
Period.
Yep.
Talking justice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
The next, I'm gonna have trouble with the handwriting, I apologize. It looks like Jim, and the last name begins with an M. McLean? I'm sorry about that. The pen gave out on some of its ink.
Here we go, Jim.
Here we go, Jim. We've got some facts for you.
Got a folder and everything.
My name is McLean, McClain, Johnston residence. Been in this state for 49 years, from Tennessee. I'm used to Tennessee Valley Authority electricity. Yes. My question to you, sir, and no disrespect, I hope everybody listens. How close are you to National Grid? You bought the company, how close are you to it?
Can you answer the question?
Sir,
Yeah, you paid $3.1 billion for the company and you don't answer?
That's unbelievable.
What about the UK? What about the UK? The National Grid was a part of. Right here, in your own words at the stock market, you say, we received $11 billion. And that $11 billion come out of my hide because I've been paying National Grid all this year.
Shame. I'm glad you know
Now, the electric bill, you say the delivery charge is 35%? You're wrong, buddy. I got an electric bill, I got a gas bill for $118 gas. Now, be honest with me. You make no profit on your gas, you say in this article. How much profit did you make on, what do you sell a 100 cubic price of gas to us as a customer?
Give us a number.
The stock market, $4.51 today for the gas that you are authorized to buy. You may pay $7. National Grid paid $11.
That's right.
If you go and add that up, I'm paying more than $11 that you say you make no profit on. Now, let's go to the peak energy bill that you sell. I used 164.8 therms. You charged me 59 cents, 330. That comes to $97 delivery fee. On the off-peak time, the same 164, which you're not allowed to triple dip on the same amount of energy. What comes through that meter is what we pay for.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you triple dipped on it. So I'm ending up with $203 for your delivery fee. Now tell me, on $118,
Shame.
that's 200% increase on your deal. Now, the good part. What did you do with the $11 billion profit that you made from selling National Grid in UK? That was done in 2021. Your peak hours, you charge one price for it. What are the peak hours? Daytime? 12 hours in the daytime and 12 hours at night for off peak? Well, you should be dividing that 164 into two pieces. 59% of what the 168 is for the peak, and 43% on what that. But no, you didn't do that. You charged it on the complete 100% on all three of them. So you say you're 35%? That's all I have to say.
You're wrong.
You failed that. Wow.
Last month it was even worse. It was over 220%.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
All of this,
I told you he's ready for it.
all of this is one thing. If you regulators just allow them to tell you what they're doing, you don't know what they're doing. And I would suggest that you sit down with somebody who knows what's going on. Check the stock market. Read what they
Do
do.
your job.
Their stock just went from $27 in March of last year to $39 this year, just on the stock market today. So I'm telling you, you do charge a price for the gas. It's not much. I appreciate that at $118 for gas, because previous years it was $220, but now I'm $323, $100 more. I'm an 80-year-old retired person. No pension other than what I've saved in my work. I didn't work for a company like the state or somebody like you that you pay people very good wages and provide them health care. I had to pay every bit of it myself. Thank you very much, and I hope you guys have a nice night. And you can watch what they do.
I just wanted to acknowledge that, again, we have, for anybody who wants to get into the specifics of their individual bill and the challenges therein, that we have representatives in the back of the room that will be available as long as it takes this evening to walk through that and break out those details. Just wanted to give that reminder again.
So the next person I have on the list is Sue Kelly.
Yes, sir.
My name is Sue Kelly, Kelley, and I am angry.
Let him know, Sue.
I'm angry at a profit motive separated from humane considerations. I'm angry at an ever-increasing profit that squeezes hard-working Rhode Islanders, forcing us all to make difficult choices between heat and food, children and rent. I am angry that no corporation expects itself actually to be supportive of the greater community or actually to consider the morality of its actions. I'm more angry after talking to the amount of people I talked to outside of this building. People whose rates went from 100 and something to a month to 200, 500 in 3 months.
Great.
Why is that happening?
Why?
Who can budget for that when you don't know it's coming?
Yeah.
We won't even mention the people who went from 700 to 1,000. This is outrageous. How can you rationalize this? How can you tell us that we're going to save $1.45 or something like that when people's prices are tripling? That's outrageous. I'm 76 years old. Yes, I depend on Social Security, to which I contributed every single day of my working life. As long as I don't do anything foolish, like go to a movie, contribute to charity, or splurge on something silly, like a vet bill. I can make it. It's stressful and tight, and I know I'm better off than most of my Rhode Island neighbors. But we all see what's coming. Medicaid, cut. Medicare is going to be cut. Social Security, SNAP, Head Start, and many other programs that actually help Rhode Islanders survive are about to be gutted or eliminated. At that point, your elderly Rhode Islanders, not to mention those with children or those with disabilities or those with minimum wage jobs, are going to suffer, are going to struggle, and will likely add to homelessness in the state.
Yep.
Greed is the new God. Customers are dispensable. Corporations will bleed us dry for profit, forgetting that our elimination eventually eliminates profit too. How do we trust utility companies when, for instance, there are such things as National Grid's billing scandal? How do we trust How do we trust a company which has profits, which has profits as its number one goal? We start from a place of suspicion at best. How can we know whether there are not even now additional accounting tricks that have us paying more than we should? Like that 79 cents Jim mentioned. What is that for?
What is it?
Then there is the fact. Thank you. Then there is the fact that our utility bills have increased by as much as 50% over the past 2 years. This is the time period when the CEO of Rhode Island Energy saw his pay package increase from $9 million per year to $12 million. That only happens when there is profit from us. We demand that Rhode Island Public Utilities Commission enforce an immediate rate cut for all Rhode Island utility consumers. That rate cut is necessary to provide financial relief to households struggling with the high cost of living, to prevent heat and electricity shutoffs, which should never happen. That is inhumane. Hold utility companies accountable for fair and reasonable pricing. If there have been shenanigans before, how do we ever know that they're not happening now? Who is auditing the company? Who is auditing them every single month? We should ensure access to essential services for all Rhode Islanders, regardless of income, because that is fair, that is just. I thank you for listening to a very angry old woman.
Maybe I'm going to struggle getting the last name. It was Ed, and I'm having trouble reading the handwriting.
He's coming.
Okay, good. My apologies, Ed, but it's his last name.
The people are ready.
People are mad.
Clap it up for Ed.
Here we go, Ed.
Go ahead.
Big bag and everything.
Here we go.
Right. Hello, everyone. My name is Edward Morissette. It's all right, my handwriting's crashed, I get it. Morrissette. I'm a 26-year-old engineer who just moved out of the nest. I'm not really gonna go super into detail about my situation, but like all of us back here, it's a pretty familiar tale. I had a mixed meter situation going on with my apartment for the past, 7 months. And it's taken all 7 of those months for you clowns to try and fix that. Very cool. I've been calling maybe like every week, maybe twice a week, at least, for those 6 months, without any significant gain in progress or showable results, if you will. My bill hasn't gone down. My electricity is, I figured out that I'm paying for my neighbor's floor instead of my own floor. And there's obviously no one in your company that went and checked the actual bill. So, cool, very nice accountability on your ends. But that doesn't even go into the fact that you guys have a bombastically overpriced rate for electricity, for gas. And all this, meanwhile, you claim to have a good mindset towards running a business, but we look at your profits and it's $888 million for last year.
That's just Rhode Island Energy.
That's just, what the gentleman in the back just said. So I ask you, what are you doing with that money? Are you investing it back into your business like you should? Like, are you
Going to the
improving
shareholders.
things? Yeah, it sounds like you're just like paying your top dog a lot of money instead of helping us out. All of the Rhode Island proletariat gathered behind me, we're all suffering. And you people are sitting in your high and mighty castles. It's incredibly frustrating. Forgive me, I'm a little hungry, and I'm about to get out of here. Probably spend more on electricity than I do on my food, thank you. So, cool.
Thank you.
Representative Carter.
Who?
Megan, she's so back there somewhere. Megan?
What was that, Representative?
We go, Megan.
We go, Megan.
Thank you for listening to us tonight. My name is Megan Cotter. I'm a state rep from District 39, Exeter, Richmond, and Hopkinton.
All right.
And I think it's incredible because as I look around the room, I see many of my colleagues here tonight, Democrats and Republicans.
Good.
And I think that's really powerful to see that you have a bipartisan issue here. When I was canvassing this summer, knocking on doors, there was a common theme when I spoke to people and listened to what they have to say. They can't afford to live in Rhode Island anymore. Specifically, there was a couple in their mid to late 80s. The husband was still working. They could not pay for their medicine, their utilities, their taxes, and their food. He was working full time. I listened to what they had to say, and I hope that you folks listen to what all these people have to say today, because the buck starts with the PUC. Rhode Island Energy wants you to think that renewable energy is the reason why our bills are so high, while at the same time, the CEO got a 31% raise. Making So I ask you, is it renewable energy, or is it profits? I will be brief because I know there's a lot of people that still need to talk, but I'm going to sleep well tonight because I know that I did what the people of my area need me to do. I fought for them.
That's right.
I hope you'll be able to sleep well too.
Good evening. The stories that I've heard
Just a
today.
second, can you just spell your last name for the stenographer?
Tuttle. Thank you. The stories here today are the reason why all the people behind me are coming to tell their story about the actions that the state of Rhode Island and the Public Utility Commission has done to them. This is, by far, the most people that I've seen from all a part of Rhode Island, both on the left, both on the right, that have come together to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough of the price gouging. Enough of taking home profit off the back of senior citizens living in this state.
Profit!
Greed. Do your job.
For profit and greed. And I don't like it when people come to this hearing and there are members of your commission who are smiling at people who are struggling to pay the bills right now because of the cost of living.
Wake up! Wake up!
Being serious.
Wake up!
This is a crisis.
So today, I encourage you to listen to your customers. I encourage you to have the morality to lower the rates, not in the summer, but tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Please, look at these people. You have people on fixed income saying that I can't even go out to the movies.
Right.
Is that the state that we want to live in?
No! That's why we're moving. Amen.
People are having to leave the state because they can't afford rates.
They don't care. The rich friends will just buy up all the houses.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
The facts are there. Please lower the rates. Thank you.
The next name I have looks like a Mark, and the last name appears to begin with a W. But I apologize again. Some of the signatures are hard to read.
Here we go, Mark.
Mark.
My name is Mark, pronounced Wiese, W-I-E-S-E. Like many of my neighbors here tonight, my bill has continued to go up over the last few months.
Yeah.
And my only question is, you're citing climate change as it was a cold winter this winter. You obviously weren't around about 15 years ago when it snowed at least 12 inches every week, usually through February. And if you think it was cold, what are you gonna do when it's hot? Because people have air conditioners, they have fans, they have needs, and you really aren't listening to us. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
The one I have appears to be Lisa Duff.
Last name is Daft, D-A-F-T.
I'm apologizing. It's dangerous when you're trying to read the handwriting. Go ahead.
So I am here tonight. I found myself here because on Facebook, everybody in the state seems to be complaining about their utility bills, how come they're doubling, things like that. So I started pulling my own bills and started looking at those. And I do agree with everyone to sit there and say that the delivery charges of 35% is not accurate. I have two bills here. We have both gas and electric at our house. And for January, my supply charges were $168 and my delivery charges were $280.
That is not 35%. I'm not a mathematician.
I don't have one bill. I do not have one bill, Pat, that's even close to 35%. My electric charges were $101 and my delivery charges were $99. So they just go through there. I have the whole packet. So I started to also look. We have a condominium in New Hampshire. And while you can't really compare the usage, it's not our primary home, I tried to do, yeah, it is. I tried to look at it in a percentage, and we are definitely paying at least 20% more, than what I pay in New Hampshire. And when I look at the daily or the kilowatt price, it looks like Rhode Island is somewhere around 16 cents, and New Hampshire's like 10. So, I do have something to compare it to. I also talked to my parents in Florida who have much better utility prices there. I think that I agree with most what everybody has been saying there. This is a statewide issue. These are people, I'm from the East Bay. I've lived in this state for my whole life, but have lived in the East Bay for 27 years. When I first moved here, I never had a problem. I'd say the last 15 years, if the wind blows the wrong way, we lose power. It becomes so problematic that several people, half my street has a generator, and it's all you hear when the power goes out. So, there's renewable charges. I don't really agree with a lot of, what's happening. It's very confusing to read the bills. The explanation was even over my head. I'm quite involved in the local, political scene. But I don't know, I'm looking at the commission. I have a lot of disagreements with what's happening with the bills, but the commission is who we are, you all are who we need to, get help from. You need to either figure out what to do with the energy sources or find...
Yes.
We need to look at where is the energy coming from, how do we get it cheaper, how do we get it better? What we need to do. And if you need to start pulling on legislators, there's a lot of bad policy in this state, okay? And there are definitely solutions, there are new energy sources, there's better ways to bring it in, gas, pipelines, whatever needs to happen. I'm not an expert in that, I fix teeth, okay? I don't know this, I pay my bills, and when you start looking at it, it is kind of dismal looking. And my heart goes out to everybody because I'm here, because I'm fighting for all Rhode Islanders, because I lived here my whole life, and I do listen to people, and that's one of the reasons I came here tonight, because I wanted to hear, I'm pleasantly surprised at how many people were here. There's a lot of problems in this state, and it's not just from the energy companies, but it's also what's happening in our state. And I hope that we can try to all work together. We need to figure out how to get lesser prices, because other people in our neck of the woods are paying less for utilities, meaning the usage and delivery fees. And we need to look at ways to bring in better energy, cheaper energy, clean energy that will benefit everybody in our state. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next name I have is Kathleen, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Giroux.
All right.
Come on, Kathleen.
Commissioners, don't hide behind Rhode Island Energy.
I was a resident of Rhode Island most of my life. I lived in Florida for 5 years. I have never paid the amount of money that I've been paying for the last few months here. I live in a 900 square foot apartment in Smithfield. My bill in November was $98 for my gas. Then it went up to $205. Then to $335. Last month was $404.
Shame!
In Florida, I had central air heat combination, and I never paid over $150 a month for my utilities. Never. I have a disabled son at home. I'm in my 70s. And I can't quit working because I can't afford to.
But you keep raising the rates.
Snuffing out the American dream. What are you doing?
I just can't afford it anymore. I'm ready to pack it up and go back to Florida. I mean, I grew up in Smithfield.
They don't want to take no profit out of their pocket now.
It's crazy. Crazy. I mean, $404 for a small 900 square foot apartment. I don't cook a lot. I keep my heat on 68. I mean, and it's crazy. It's gonna bankrupt me. I'm not eligible for any of these programs because between my Social Security and the small pension I have, I make too much money.
That's the only way you get something if you got nothing.
And I don't have anything. I don't have savings anymore. It's being put towards these utility bills.
Oh, dear.
The commission has to say no.
You gotta listen to us. Do their job. And not Rhode Island Energy. I mean, if you go up and down Smith Street to North Providence, they've been working over there for months. And you see 20 to 30 guys over there. What are they all doing? They don't need to be standing around with their hands in their pockets. And it's Rhode Island Energy workers. So what are they doing?
Taking your money.
Taking your money.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Next one is Ian Chernaski, if I got that correctly.
He's coming.
Here we go.
Hello, hi, I'm Ian Chernaski, and I do understand that
Could you spell your last name?
CHERNASKY, and I do understand that the supply rates are going down, but I'm here to talk about the distribution and transmission costs. I just think it's absurd that you guys are proposing to allow Rhode Island Energy to increase the transmission and distribution rates when PPL just announced that, record profits over $800 billion for 2024.
20% more
And
than last year.
they specifically called out the Rhode Island Energy Division for having over $110 million in profit for 2024. So apparently that's not enough. And then, the PUC on their website describes, the transmission distribution rate as like what it costs Rhode Island Energy to maintain the wires and blah, blah, blah. And I get that, there's a cost there, but like, how come Pasco Electric charges like 7 cents per kilowatt hour to maintain their wires? And, fair enough, they're not maintaining like the high voltage, whatever wires that Rhode Island Energy does, but then we just have to look a little bit west. In Pennsylvania, PPL in Pennsylvania, they charge like 9 or 8 cents per kilowatt hour for transmission and distribution. Whereas they're charging almost 16 cents per kilowatt hour for the same thing here. How is it that Rhode Island wires are more expensive to maintain than Pennsylvania wires? Does that make sense to anybody? You look even further west, like you go to like Minnesota, Nebraska, wherever, they're all in electrical costs is 14 cents a kilowatt hour. So like, for some reason, it costs Rhode Island Energy more money just to maintain our wires than it does for a Minnesota utility to supply everything all in. Like, this is crazy. Like, why is it more expensive to maintain our wires than it is for them to do everything out there?
Explain yourself.
And even if you look in Connecticut, where like Norwich or whatever has like the municipal utilities, their all-in rates are lower than Rhode Island Energy's transmission distribution alone. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And a lot of this doesn't make any sense to me. Like, no offense, Mr. Chairman, but like, it doesn't even make sense how you have your position considering you worked for Rhode Island Energy for many, many years. I still have friends working for Rhode Island Energy. And like, I just asked myself, like, how can someone who worked for a utility be in charge of regulating them? Like, that makes no sense.
It's not working.
I fired your name into open secrets, and it turns out you made over $8,000 in political contributions, including $500 to the governor who appointed you to this position.
Shame!
So, like,
resign!
Why does anyone who has worked for a utility, like, why? How is it not a huge conflict of interest for them to be regulating the company they work for? They undoubtedly still have friends who work there. It's crazy. Like, what are we doing in this state? Thank you.
He was a lobbyist too.
It looks like the last name is Raposo, but I can't read the first name. I apologize.
Say it again. She said it again.
It looks like the last name is looks like Raposo, and I can't read the signature.
Oh, you got a team now.
My name is Maria Raposo, and I am very shy about talking, but I am very, very aggravated because this month my electric and gas bills came to almost $1,500.
No.
And my Social Security does not cover that. And my heat stays at 68, 69 the highest, and I don't understand how come my bill came that high. it's hard to keep up with it. So I would really appreciate if the ones in charge would take a hard look at us paying customers.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good job.
Hello, thank you for taking testimony tonight. My name is Christy Perry. I'm from Cranston. I came here to speak on behalf of my mother. She became a widow at the age of 35 and has spent her whole life working, taking care of my sister and myself. And now she's 69 and she has to worry about turning the lights on. And that is not fair. Rhode Island is better than that. You guys need to do better. I'm also here to speak on behalf of a friend of mine that couldn't be here tonight. He owns a property and he has his lights set on a timer, the same lights, the same amount of time for the last 5 years. And last year, all of a sudden, his usage went up. How is that possible?
Corruption.
There has to be something going on. There must be it needs to be looked into. That just does not add up. And lastly, what I'd like to say is, while I was standing in the back of the room, eavesdropping on Rhode Island Energy employees speaking, one said to the other, "Oh, they should see what Massachusetts rates are," as though we should be thankful that we're paying these high rates.
I'll tell you what, customer service in the back of the room.
Really companies, and it's not right. And we're taxpayers here. We rely on the PUC to make a difference for Rhode Islanders. This is your opportunity to do that. Thank you.
Michelle, and I'm sorry, Michelle, that I can't read your last name.
Go, Michelle.
Go, Michelle.
First, thank you for listening. More importantly, thank you for everybody coming out tonight. I only know about this.
Could you spell your last name?
Previe, Previe. I only know about this because my sister told me about it. What I would say is, I dare you to advertise this meeting on the public news stations, in a large auditorium, and I guarantee you wouldn't have a couple hundred people here. You would have thousands of people here.
Maybe we should do that.
When America faces the most significant inflation to wage disparities in one of the highest cost of living states in the United States, our citizens are being hit with outlandish electrical and gas rate hikes disguised as delivery fees. These hikes surmount to greed and theft and put our most vulnerable groups at risk of hunger, poverty, and foreclosure in a state where poverty is already at 10.9%.
That's unbelievable.
When more and more families have to choose between lights or food on the table for their children, elderly between warmth and medicine, the wrong decisions have been made.
That's right. That's right.
I'm going to say this slowly because I think it's very important that you hear this and you understand this. Utilities are necessary. They are not optional. This is not something people get to choose at the end of the day. It is something that they have, that they need to live and survive.
You're exploiting me!
Amen.
It's wrong!
Directed at the commission.
Amen.
These increases have very real life and severe consequences for everyday Rhode Islanders and need to be readdressed in a realistic fashion, not as disguises of decreases in the summer that will be reinstigated again in the winter time when our citizens are paying the most and using the most. Our leaders have failed us in their negotiations with you. You're here tonight to renegotiate with you. I say that again. Our leaders have failed us. And we are here to renegotiate with you. These aren't just individual costs either. They are inflationary costs. They go to businesses and ultimately will trickle down to our citizens again and again and again. My cost of daycare has gone up because their utility costs have gone up.
Shame!
There is obvious mismanagement among the electrical and gas deals. Our meter was just recently replaced in my home.
Oh, yeah.
a meter, mind you,
Yeah.
that looked exactly the same as the last one. I asked you,
Technology.
what purpose was there for this replacement? Because if this is where these added costs are going into, there's obvious misappropriation of funds and resources within the electrical departments. Listen, I work retail. I, more than anybody, understand the necessary between business and profit. But there is a moral obligation here as a provider of necessary living and care resources. And conscious capitalism is possible without robbing Americans. Yes.
It's a middle initial A, and I can't make out the last name. It looks like it begins with a C. I'm not sure. It looks like it's John, middle initial A, and the last name that begins with a C, but even that I'm not sure.
We got any Johns in the building?
Yeah, my name's John. My name's John.
Hi, John. Hi, John.
Big John.
Hi, y'all. Hi. Can everybody hear me in the back?
Hi, John.
Awesome. Sir, what's your name?
Could you please identify yourself?
My name's John.
Last name?
John C.
Can you spell the last name for us?
Whatever you have there in front of you, sir. What was your name, sir, from Rhode Island Energy?
Ma'am.
What was your name?
Ma'am, his name is Brian Schuster, but you
Brian.
can hear the comments.
Okay. You want to know my name, sir? My name is Lauren, Lauren, Del Signore, DelSignorre.
All right, here we go, Lauren.
I've sat in the back of the room. No, Brian, you can look at me because I'm speaking to you. And it's disrespectful when you don't look at people in the eye when they look at you and talk to you, okay? So I've been watching you this entire meeting while these people stand up here and they tell you, the only person in the room that represents the only national company in our state to supply our energy services to us, okay? And you've sat there with that smug look all night, raising your eyebrows, smirking here and there. I know it's rough for you to be here. I get it, because your company is for profit and it shouldn't be. So I'm here to tell you, sir, and you can take this message back to your CEO or whomever, the guy who made the 12 million. You can take it back to him, and you can let him know that we are going to petition for all utilities to be nonprofit in this state. Get rid of your company because you don't have our best interest at heart. You only have your stakeholders' best interest at heart. That is very clear to all of us here in this room. And probably most of the Rhode Islanders who couldn't be here today because they're taking their kids where they have to go and they're making dinner and working and whatnot. So I just want to let you know, sir, now that you're on notice, that we are going to be working very, very hard on a grassroots level to make sure that your company is no longer profiting off the back of your business. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, I'm going to address the organization here, the PUC. I encourage you, I demand actually, that you do not allow them to have any more increases until we, the public, have a chance, because by the way, I'm going to be going through all of those financials that are listed on their website, line by line, because you're not the only one who knows how to run a business. You're not the only one who knows how to go through financials. You're not the only one who sees how much something costs and how much we are getting in and what our profit margin is. And you, sir, and your company do not have the moral fortitude to run the company that you're running. But we, the people, do. And we are going to do our homework. I can guarantee you that. So I would like to say to you folks, please, do not give them any more increases until we, the people, can figure things out. We are in a very precarious position, not only not locally, but nationally. There's a lot of people who are losing their livelihoods. They're going to be losing their money from Social Security.
that they depend on, and they cannot afford these increases. And that is the bottom line. They cannot afford it, okay? And I know that, you know, there are people in this room that feel like, you know, they'd rather be somewhere else. Believe me, we would all rather be somewhere else. But it's apparent to us now as citizens that we cannot rely on the people that we have elected to make the decisions for us in a morally responsible way. That's right. Okay? So now we are now taking back our responsibility, and we are stepping in. And so now it's going to be even harder for you guys to shove things under the rug, because we're looking now, and we're going to be paying attention even more.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Warren.
But I'm going to go to the next name on the list. If I've skipped over someone by the name of John, you can come back. The next name I have appears to be Joyce. It looks like Flory, but again, the signatures are difficult.
Joyce. Here we go, Joyce.
I don't know if it's Fiore or Flory, but he was trying this out.
Yay, Joyce! You gave her great interview.
My name is Joyce Fiore, Fiore, and I am from Cranston. I've lived in Cranston for close to 50 years now, and I have never, ever seen bills that I've seen right now. It's outrageous. I've worked all my life, paid Social Security, I've had a budget, but like somebody else had said, which I'm probably going to reiterate what everybody has said, because, you know, you get the last on the list, everybody's always said everything that you're going to say. But from December, my bill was $164. It went up to $333 in January, which I thought was pretty high. I dealt with it. Figured, you know, the cold weather, like you said, which one gentleman said, what happened 12 years ago when we had the cold weather and all the snowstorms. I never had bills like this back then. February, it jumped up to $580. Now, in March, I got my bill for $528. So between February and March, I said to my husband, we're going to cut back on our electricity. In the morning, if the sun is up in the morning, which it won't be now because of the time change, I take a shower in the dark. I shower with the light. Keep the lights off until I absolutely need it. We had our light on a timer downstairs. We shut that off, so we used to have it on so people would think we were home. Now we don't even care. My stove, I don't even do a lot of cooking, but it's gas. My heat is gas. The gas bill has gone up, but not as much as my electricity. So my question is, how in the world can I receive a bill this high when my neighbor that lives 2 houses up from me has the same type of house? Him and his wife work from home, 2 computers on all day, lights on all day, and their bill was $149 compared to $528. I ask you, is there a problem with the meter? We had our meter checked, somebody came out and all they did was just visually look at it. Oh, it's fine. I don't think it's fine. No. I think something is wrong with the billing, because it's impossible that everybody's bills have gone up this high, and all the details that everybody has brought up to you. There's something wrong. Something wrong behind the scenes that we're just not aware of.
Investigate.
And really, from everything that you've heard from everybody here, and I speak for my friends that can't be here, and everybody has taken time to come out, and we all have busy lives, but we're all fighting for this. We can't afford this.
Yep.
And we're really begging you, really, to do something about it and stop the high profits. We don't get a profit. We don't even get a COLA where I come from. We don't get any increase. The inflation is going sky high. My groceries are almost $8 for a dozen of eggs.
Eggs.
I mean, and that's just, you know, not even Well, I mean, you have to do something. You've got to do something for us, because people can't afford this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony?
He says he's gonna pass. Skip.
Oh, can I go?
Yeah.
Can I go? Can I go?
The next person after, is that Anthony? The next person.
I'm not
Say yes,
Anthony,
just say yes.
but my name is real simple. My name is James Brown.
James Brown, That's right, baby.
I'm sweating. I'm actually sweating because I've never come to one of these meetings before. I say thank you, gentlemen, for being brave enough to be here.
Yes.
I know the words that you're hearing is not good for you, but they are good for you. You are elected officials for us.
They're appointed.
They still got a good job.
Amen, James.
And I don't have a problem with you making money. I do have a problem when you take money out of my pocket. Rhode Island is a great state. Great state. It's a small state. And Rhode Island has done many, 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 many good things. They've also done some terrible things. And we're not gonna go into history about it. We're gonna just stick with today.
Yeah.
Everybody behind me, to my left, to my right, if you look at them and you evaluate just what you see. Don't evaluate nothing, just evaluate what you see and say, how much money does he make? How much money does she make? How big is her house? How many children does she have? I see in front of me, if I let my imagination run with me, you're not struggling to pay your mortgage. You're not struggling to pay your light bill.
Right.
Hey, that's the way you got it. I didn't get to be rich. You know what I'm saying? That ain't my bag. But you were gifted with it. And you may not be rich, but you got plenty of money. You know? I drive a Ford Ranger, 2011. It's a good truck. But I can't buy a 2025 though. Because I'm trying to keep ahead of my light bill and my water bill and my gas bill and my eggs and my bacon. You know, and folks, these people behind me, including myself, if you don't get it, we're struggling. We're struggling. My gas bill went up from February from $188. Now understand, that was an increase from $94. I don't heat my house with gas. I dry my clothes with gas and I cook with gas. March, my gas bill was $1,284.17.
How is that possible?
Really? Well, you know, they say they're gonna put a new meter in.
That's extortion.
I thought, don't do that. Folks, we have to fix this little problem. It's a little problem because you can fix it. You can fix it. You got the power to fix it. You know, you don't struggle to go to the grocery stores. If you go to the grocery store, you know, you may have somebody else to go do your shopping for you. I don't know. But that's not what I got. I got to get out there every day and go to Shaw's and all these places. Well, actually now, I'm almost down to Aldi's. You know? Because I'm trying to figure out where I can save some money at. You know? I know what I did do in my house, and it's proven almost to defeat the gas company and the electric company. What I do, instead of not cutting the light on, or going around and cut the lights off when the kids leave it on, and you know they don't care. You know what I do with that? I unplug it.
Yep.
I unplug it. My wife gets upset with me. Oh, I gotta go and plug it back in. I said, well, hey, you know, it's been off for 2 hours. You go ahead and you can plug it back in now. You know? But if we go downtown, we unplug everything in that house that we can.
Yep.
Just to keep the electric bill acceptable. You got some great people that live in this state, but we gotta do better. We can do better. We gotta get rid of the greed. I don't want to insult you, but I feel the greed is there. $1 million is not enough. I gotta make more, James. If I squeeze them a little bit more, because look, somebody said it was essential.
Yes.
It was something like you gotta have these things. I saw a movie the other day where the chief had discovered fire. And he said, oh, I keep this for myself. And the man told him, said, no, it wouldn't benefit you in the long run if you just kept it to yourself. He said, it's better if you spread it around.
Wow.
You see, you got to spread it around so we can all benefit. You can keep your big house, but let me keep my little house with some lights on it. It's elementary if you don't see it. I'm not a college grad. I just got a high school education. But I understand that if I don't supply it to all the people, if I don't give it to all the people, I have a revolution. I have a riot.
It's coming.
And we don't want that. Rhode Island is always telling me that they want to be the forefront of new stuff. Be the forefront of this.
That's right.
Your patience and again your bravery, and I commend you for it.
You're a good man.
My name is Melissa Randall.
What are we doing?
Making sure they feel safe.
Oh, they're over capacity because they're raising the prices on Rhode Island.
One moment, Ms. Wilder. We got notification from the Warwick Fire Department that we're above capacity. And so, that means that.
So maybe you should delay the meeting and reschedule it to somewhere we can obtain the amount of people
Senator,
we
could you
need.
stand up and stand up?
We've had a meeting with this size people before. I've been to multiple meetings, and now all of a sudden, we can't be this size?
Well, I make a motion that you reschedule the meeting to a hall that can accommodate this amount of people.
I second.
Let's do it again.
So everybody knows when it's on the view.
People took time out of their day.
Motion to second.
Second. The people made it clear.
It is an open meeting, and you should be able to accommodate all who are here.
We're trying to there's a lady downstairs with a television.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
We're checking upstairs for there's a second hearing room upstairs where those that are standing can watch it from on the camera upstairs. As their names are calling and coming down and speak. That's what we're checking on right now. But we can't leave it the way it is. The Warwick Fire Department is going to clear the.
Motion's been made to reschedule the meeting.
Please reschedule the meeting so people can testify.
How did you not know this?
Why is this hard? Hear people's voices. Schedule.
This is intentional. Fraud. You didn't have the sound ready. You didn't have the meeting room ready.
And you have to reserve 5 hours for all of us to speak.
People took mass transportation here.
Some people have left already. How are we still
How much are we over capacity? How much? What's the exact count? And was it? No, what representative of the fire department was here, and why didn't they make that clear and was here?
They're actually supposed to
If you're standing,
Why won't you tell us what the count is and how much we're over?
the count's 112.
All right, and how much are we over?
We're at 180 right now.
And how did you not know this now ahead of time? How did you not plan for this?
But I gave you the courtesy.
Oh, a
Sir.
courtesy. Thank you so much.
So, I guess you just blew that chance.
Oh my God, what will I do?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're standing, you have to leave, please.
There are not 112 chairs.
There's
a chair
Cut
right here.
the rate! Cut 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 the rate!
I put my name on a list to speak, and I'd like to speak.
They're pushing the people who are standing out.
Oh, I know, right,
You're an embarrassment. Gentlemen from the Attorney General's office, are you ready to observe? Are you going to file? Can we file an Open Meetings Act complaint with you right now?
Discussed it in all of you tonight.
What's that?
We've sat here, we've cried or yelled or been all sort of emotions.
Can I cite you as a witness?
Any emotion from you, sitting there with constant smiles and smirks. And I used to shake you.
Dude, really? Do you have any shame?
We're going to attempt to open up additional rooms that are going to have the video. So what I have to do first, so we're just make sure that you're able to see and hear what's happening here. And if your name is called, you'll come downstairs.
So you're not going to reschedule, is that what you're telling us?
I'm going to first attempt to get that room open.
That's a no.
We all see what's happening here.
So can I just have a moment for that? But does that sound okay for everybody if I just give that a shot, see if we can accommodate additional room?
I have one more testimony.
I want to testify. Sign me up.
Here, sir, buddy.
I think they're waiting, miss, I think they're waiting until they get the upstairs sound on before they let you speak so people can hear you. And I don't know why they're not telling you that.
No, I know, but we need to get people in the
How were they not? This is run like a banana republic. Time after time after time. We have a representative from the Attorney General's office here.
The size of the venue is not